Live people. So here with a new wardrobe setup because hoodies are out, asses are clear, shorter is the day, winter is near. So
In Australia, it's firing up. My balls are sweating already.
and
Oh,
yeah, and our balls are going for hibernation. So that's what's up. So the thing is, today we're gonna have an interesting conversation on. We thought of taking up Greek philosophy and then diving deeper into all these people, Plato, Aristotle, and what were they trying to say, and many other philosophers who you guys consider as mathematicians, but they are mere philosophers, like Pythagoras, Euclid, and all. Euclid was Greek, I believe. Yeah, Euclid was Greek. Yeah, so all these Greek people and how they channel philosophy according to their interest, and what was the real meaning of Pythagoras mathematics. He just wanted to know the essence of and meaning of life through mathematical equations. So everyone had their own ways. Yeah, Matthew, go on.
I heard that Pythagoras had quite the cult. Well, a lot of philosophers had particularly Greeks, had their large cults, like a massive cult following. Apparently, cults first other cults back then.
Can you move your camera a bit lower, or can you move your chair a bit, because I'm just seeing this. Yeah, now it's perfect. Yeah, now it's fine. Now you can relax. Yeah, now you can relax. Yeah, so cults.
But yeah, many philosophers were quite charismatic, and they would often have all their lovely little cults which they used to command.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure even Pythagoras even had his own commune. He was that devoted into his cult in mathematics. Trying to find the perfection and beauty behind maths.
Yeah.
I myself can't really seem to understand that, but
are you into mathematics? Have you gone through, are you interested in mathematics?
Not really into maths.
Maths
was never really my
thing. Yeah, it's really fucked me up. So I'll tell you a short story. So before going deeper, your favorite Star Wars. That's something from the Star Wars, I believe. Yoda or what?
Yeah, Yoda, yeah.
Okay, so what's the role of Yoda in Star Wars? What's the role of Yoda in Star Wars? Is he some kind of guru?
Sorry?
The role of Yoda.
Yeah. He's a guru and all that.
Okay. Role.
Yeah,
okay.
peace with the force.
I've heard people mimicking his voice many a times. So the thing is, coming back to the mathematics and philosophy, I was very much into astrophysics, right? And into universe, and wanted to be an physicist. So okay, Jesus, number 14. Okay, you have joined in. Please call in your friends, share the stream, call in your friends. This is gonna be an interesting, and we'll try to take this into a deep philosophical conversation today. No hamburgers, no cheeseburgers, no butter chicken. So we'll have a deep conversation. So the thing is, I was very much into astrophysics, right? And I was like trying to decipher theorems, trying to come up with my theorems, but I was pretty bad at solving equations and making equations. So I had to leave astrophysics, physics, in general, because I thought that I'm not that breed of people. So the thing is, now I realize that you can come up with new shit, but you don't need to be a mathematician or physicist, to come up with new shit. Philosophy is a very beautiful ground. It gives you a premise to build on your arguments, and it's like the mother of everything, every shit that's happening, be it mathematics, be it physics, be it chemistry. Everything originated from philosophy in general. So that's what Greek philosophy is all about. Philosophy is like the academic study, is the study of all academic knowledge, or of knowledge in general. And then we had mathematics. They made their own cults, like Matthew was talking about. And yeah, so that's a brief history of how philosophy came into being.
Of course, by the very name, philosophy, love of wisdom. What was it? Philo, love, and Sophie, wisdom. Pretty
Love
sure
of
that's how-
wisdom. Love for wisdom.
Yeah,
Hmm.
something like that.
Yeah.
Although a lot of Greek philosophy is very hard to read. You kind of have to be really academic in order to understand them very well, because, like in Plato's work, everything is called the Socratic dialogue. It's the conversations between Socrates and other people throughout Athens, and they could be really confusing with very high-end words and very odd meanings that were probably pretty common in ancient times, but in modern times it could be like, what? What the fuck? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Moving ahead, Matthew, again, this thing is cutting out a little bit.
That's as far as it can go.
Yeah.
Ooh. There we go.
Now it's fine.
Yeah.
Now it's fine. You forced it to fuck, motherfucker. Now it's fine.
Yeah, I got a webcam.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. So the thing is, where was I? I think so. Mingling up your words with something which is quite difficult to understand, which I've been doing with my book recently. I don't know. What do you think? Why do people complicate their shit? Of be it philosophy, why do people complicate philosophy? Is it to convert it into some sort of poem or some sort of poetic device so that people could understand it without getting agitated? Or what's your take on that?
I think there might be three things. One, they specifically designed it that way so that only academics can read it, because they feel like the common peasantry or people in the future will just have no interest, and only for academics. Thus, they feel that way. The other, well, being egotistical, stroking that dick, trying to make themselves look big and pompous.
Yep.
The more fancier you sound, the better.
That's what I've been trying to do, because this is what I believe. But what I believe that this is what you face down the line when you try to move ahead in your journey, which is people don't tend to understand you if you are coming up with hard facts and straight facts, and this has been a major problem for me. But when you try to spice things up, sugarcoat things up, and you make shit fancy, unnecessary shit into it, you're trying to sound more intellectual, right? You know what I mean? More intellectual, more into jargons and technical terms. Like, people are fucking hit by your words. I don't know why, but it's what it is. Like, I post my quotes in a very basic manner, like survival is the ultimate ego, as simple as that, and people tend to do not appreciate such kind of stuff. But when I try to poeticize, or if that's a word, whatever it is, I try to romanticize it, people are like, wow, you are a writer, you are a writer. And that's what I've been getting nowadays, me being a writer. So
yeah, well, whenever I try to write my stuff, I try to make it as simple as possible. But then the third reason is that when you're having an academic, like a lot of academic friends, you just tend to speak and write that way just naturally. That could also be another reason.
Yeah, those could
That's
be
also
reasons.
my reason.
Yeah. I believe friends influence you a lot. Having a good company, either for me, it's like either you have your own company or have company with friends who are good, who are pushing you to be better, who are in with you. They are like the partner in your crime, not like for me. All of my people who were around my university were like partying and wandering here and there and posting stories and shit, eating in good restaurants. And what I believe is I can buy a book, I can buy a fucking book, rather spending like 20 or 25, $30 in a restaurant which we're gonna shit in the morning, the same food we're gonna shit. We can buy a book. So this is my library now. 2 books in my library.
2 books now.
One is Nietzsche and the other is Kafka. So this is my library in hand, pocket library. So Utkarsh have joined in. Hi Utkarsh, how are you? Hope you are doing well. So this is how things have been going. And now coming back to Greek philosophy, what picture do you make of Greek philosophy when you hear that term?
The bedrock, or more so the foundation of all Western thought. I mean, everything began with them. They were the founders. They invented it.
For sure.
Well, they've invented the bloody word for it.
Yeah.
They came up with some really crazy stuff because they had no reference points. They had to invent as they go along. Not to mention, they had to fight everyone just for the basic ideas.
There have been a rift between Greeks and Indians, Vedic Indians, and Chinese and the Middle Eastern people, Arabic people, that this was our shit first, this is your shit later on. So this is the premise that we built, and you have built your arguments on our premise. So it's like a war between discovery of philosophy, the concepts of philosophy. What's your take on that?
Philosophers have always been at war with each other.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just natural. Just like scientists go against scientists, mathematician go against mathematician. But it's healthy. It's actually healthy. The more you debate, the more you fight, the more refined you become, and more refined your evidence. First, when you come up with your theorem or any piece of your work, first to be a blunt sword, freshly forged, hasn't been battle hardened yet. And of course, as you keep on battling and battling, the more refined it gets. The better the wielder, the better the sword.
For sure, that's a good line. That's a good line. And the thing is, what's your take? You have been into Roman philosophy, Roman Empire and all that stuff. So what's your take on, has Rome been influenced by Greek philosophy? Or what's your take on the difference between Greek and Roman philosophy?
There's practically no difference.
Okay.
Because the Romans absorbed all of Greek culture, Greek ideology, thoughts, ethics, civics, the whole thing. So basically, Roman philosophy as well, Greek philosophy. It might be tiny variants, but not really all that noticeable or noteworthy.
Are there any great Roman philosophers?
Not to my head. I know that there is.
There might be, but I've not been into it because I don't know. Like, I know for a fact that Greek philosophers were quite daring with their stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure. Because like people like Xenoxus and all these people, like there's this saying that there's this pantheon in Greece. The epitome of every monument is the pantheon, right? Like it's the holiest of holy places, and philosophers like Aristotle, Plato, and Plato, Aristotle are considered to be the gods of pantheon. It's just a metaphorical line used in philosophy. Like you can keep Friedrich Nietzsche in the pantheon, because these are the greatest philosophers of all time. Friedrich Nietzsche, Marcus Aurelius, and all these people. So the thing is, how can I put this? There have been many philosophers, man, like who have tried changing the pace of this world. Many Greek philosophers like Xenoxus. I was reading about Xenoxus, and I have also mentioned about him in the previous podcast too, which is he argued that the sun, which people used to give their devotion to, is no god. It's just molten rock and lava, and he exiled from the city and was threatened that if he come back he'll be executed. And now we know for a fact that they are no gods, they are just molten rock and lava. But still there are some dimwits who claim that there is a god hidden behind the molten rocks and lava. So what's your take on that? I mean, the question which I'm trying to pose here is like the mentality of people then and the mentality of people now, in spite of we having all sort of modern technology, all sort of stuff. So what do you think?
Well, I mean, we have so much freedom compared to them.
Yeah, for sure.
They had a lot of religious holdings back then, and there wasn't much freedom of information, not compared to the rapid information sharing that we have here. So of course, naturally, the main populace would become quite religious or superstitious, that sort of thing. And there just wouldn't be, like, someone could criticize it somewhere in the Greek states, but that information would never reach anywhere else. So that can become a bit of an issue. So philosophers always have to travel on foot or horseback all across to spread their word. Kind of like a priest, but for philosophy at least. They gotta preach their word. They gotta have a sense of charisma.
Yeah, for sure.
It. If you're not charismatic, well, you're not going to get a lot of people listening to you.
Yeah, for sure. There should be some sort of confidence and charisma radiating from your presence, You walk into a room full of people and you should have shit with you, right? You should have shit with you, not throwing shit on other people, but having shit with you, having your shit together. That's what it's. I have been through that journey, and I'll touch on that. Kuldeep has joined in. Hi Matthew. Hi Faraz. Hi man. How are you doing? You people can pose questions, and hopefully, did you get any questions from any of them recently, or after that guy shared the book with you? Did you get any other person coming to you and asking questions? Because I've told them to ask questions to you. Because some of them were interested in Stoicism, so I was like, you should go to the master. I'm no one to tell you how Stoicism. So I'm also introducing this thing on how to start philosophy. Like on my Hindi channel, there are 1250 people watching me, so I should be introducing, and people are very much interested. I did a poll recently, and that poll was, what would you like to watch? A vlog, another vlog which I shared with you the other day too, or would you like to know how to start philosophy, how to dive deeper into philosophy? So that's what the thing is. What I wanted to touch here is, I've seen that shit, walking into a room, and being all, I was a guy who was very timid and feeble inside when I used to walk into a room. No charisma at all, social anxiety at its peak, used to shit my pants. It was like very fearful for me, very dreadful, a very, very fearful situation when I used to walk. But now it is like, when you have a control over your arguments, you can walk into any room. It's like, you can walk into any room, and the same might go, you might have felt at any point of your time, being into Stoicism, being into arguing, making your argument strong, and then
I'm quite the veteran in that regard.
Yeah, for sure.
I've always been highly confident and charismatic.
Yeah, for sure.
Even when I was little, I was like, I could talk to anyone. Anyone, anywhere, anytime.
I was not the one.
Stoicism was a huge reinforcement.
Yeah, for sure. I was the opposite. Like, I was shit scared of, walking into a crowd, relatives talking to me, trying to portray myself as someone else. That's the major trap which people fall into. Trying to portray yourself as someone else just to leave a mark on the people in front of you, like there's this saying, first impression is the last impression. So, that kind of shit. And I was a victim of that. And, now coming out, my English was fucked up because of that. because I was able to articulate inside of my head, but when I wanted that to come to my tongue and through my mouth to various people, I was like, I wasn't able to do that. I was mixing up stuff. So that's what the thing is, and that's what philosophy, like, people don't understand, man. This is the biggest downfall. People don't tend to understand how philosophy can help you. They just want to be the coolest in the room. That's what they want to be. But there's foundation, there's a stepping stone to everything, and you should be taking baby steps, not diving deeper into deep stuff and deep shit. That's what
they'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
Simple as that, it'll fuck you up.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I posted a story of me buying this book by Friedrich Nietzsche, and people were like, we because there are a couple of my followers who are very genuine with my content, and they're like, we are gonna buy this shit. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't buy this, man. Don't fuck yourself, because
the one advice I can give to people is just like build a foundation first for you to fall on, because philosophy will make you slip and fall and tumble. That's a definite fact.
That's why people, are so dreadful of philosophy, I believe. They're like, philosophy is the most boring subject or most boring field of study that we can ever come across. That's because you fucking chose Friedrich Nietzsche as your first book. Because, I have seen so many people diving into straight up existential philosophers. And that's a fact. That's a fact.
Idea.
That's a fact. Back here in India, I don't know about Australia. People are like diving deeper. You should be going through history, my man. That's my only advice to y'all. It's like, you should be going through the history of philosophy first. How did philosophy came into existence? But no, we want to show ourselves as fucking, predecessors of Friedrich Nietzsche. That's what my thing is.
I've seen some people who've gone through that sort of thing. They just want to dive right into that stuff, and they get fucked over.
Yes, yeah.
Like sleepless nights and all that.
For sure.
It's like
there's
even some bad cases of people, suicide.
Yeah, for sure. That's what. Yeah,
philosophy is invigorating, but it certainly is dangerous. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you need to build a foundation. The simple stuff, the light stuff, you can't delve right into the deep stuff. Not yet.
So how's your book going? The new book, the thick book, the thick.
I haven't
lady
touched
right
my
there.
Aristotle one.
Okay.
I can't. I need to follow my Plato one first.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
I need to get that one done before I can.
Yeah.
Because I have a habit of reading different books, different times, different places, and then I can't even recall what I read before. It's like, what? Fuck. Shit. So yeah, I'm forcing myself to read and finish one book and then move on to the next.
Yeah, for sure.
But currently, I've read 3 chapters of the complete works of Plato. One about the conversation of piety, like what defines piety, what makes a man pious, and the other, like, a name, like what is truly a name.
Okay, pious, Pias, pious, or Bias, bias, Pies. Okay.
No, Pious, pious. Like religion. Oh,
okay,
pious,
okay,
that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a very common word, pious.
Yeah.
The third one, which I'm reading now, is like knowledge, the philosophy of knowledge. I always find like that's some interesting stuff, quite interesting stuff. Though, however, the naming one is like, the piety knowledge one's actually quite good. So that's the first work Plato ever did, was about piety. And that was a conversation between Socrates and Meletus. Yeah. And they're trying to define or help each other define what is piety. What makes a man pious? One point of the argument was that his devoutness into religion. But then same thing could be said about an idea, an ethic. Piety isn't just like restricted into just religion, per se, even though it's mainly tied to religion.
Mm.
And like, what truly, like, what can you 100% say a man is pious, and why would he be pious?
Mm.
Yeah, it's an argument there was also selfishness.
Mm.
Yeah, man wants to be pious only because he wants to get in good with the gods,
For sure.
not because he wants to do good for humanity. He just wants to, be up there, not down there. That's the thing. And that's that's a bit of a ground shaker, that one, because that's how most people are when they're claiming that they are very pious or very religious, but they're doing it for selfish reasons.
I feel you. I had the same line. I was writing the same line in my book. I'll just read it out to you. A couple of lines from my book. Just a minute. Let me just find it. Okay. Before any utterance. Okay. My camera would be vibrating. I know for a fact. Yeah, because someone is calling. I don't know why people tend to call. But when I'm busy, I didn't get any call during the day. But now everyone wants to call me.
I was gonna say I must be tripping.
Yeah, simple. Okay, so this is what I wrote. Yeah, envy it is felt dripping from them, shackled by the baggages that faith carry. If freedom cannot be theirs, then none belong to yours. So this is what God is saying, and God is saying to those people who are like always talking about faith, not listening to what the other guy wants to say, and trying to throw their burden of faith onto other people. And this is what God wants to say to that person, who is thinking that I am being very, very, being a servant to God, but God, in contrast, is very aggressive about it. And God is saying, envy it is felt dripping from them, shackled by the baggages that faith carry. If freedom cannot be theirs, then none belong to yours. Seem very obvious. Like, if freedom can't be yours, then freedom can't be anyone's. So this is what.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
This is what's seeming from all these people trying to, like, if I'm drinking alcohol, me being a Muslim, right? Me drinking alcohol. A Muslim comes to me and says, don't drink alcohol. It's forbidden. It's a sin. Like, okay, God told you that those are the words of God. Your prophets told not to do that shit because that's forbidden in Islam. But I want you to look into my eyes. Look into my eyes and tell me that is it because of God asking you to do this, or is it because you are envious that you cannot drink wine or alcohol? That's jealousy. Jealousy dripping. It's like, if I can't do this, you cannot.
Yeah, I've had that same thought before, even before when I was reading my book. Just like the commandments or whatever the prophets would prophesy. It's purely out of jealousy, something they cannot do or appreciate.
This happens.
Of course, no one dares critiques them.
Yeah,
especially back at those times.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and this happens with me when I'm writing. Like, whenever I'm writing stuff, it happens with me. The stuff I write tend to match with stuff that has been there, because this is something which I you can say I can cherish. That me not reading stuff and still coming up with stuff which has been put out by other philosophers, I believe is a great thing to have. That's a plus point, and that's why I preach the concept of philosophy. Because this is what it is. Because there have been many instances like philosophers, modern day philosophers teaching in universities, they have taken their whole lives trying to conceptualize a theory, and I concluding it in one sentence. So that's what I believe.
And also philosophy teachers and all that, they're generally just more like doing more the history of philosophy, not like actively practicing or looking too much into it. Or the many school of thoughts. And that's why I would never go to a philosophy class. waste of money.
Yeah, for sure.
Ugh.
100%.
Rather buy a book.
Yeah, for sure. I've been approaching couple of philosophers, so like I approach Kyle, I approach you, so I've been thinking of approaching a couple of more people. Trying to have as many versatile minds as I can. So the thing is, there was this girl, I believe she was a girl, right? And I asked her that she, also commented hi or something below that post in which I wrote. You would remember that post, and she was like, and I was like, okay, this is a podcast which I'm doing. I'm looking out for people, and are you interested? So she first asked me for my links of my YouTube channel, and she was like, you are having so few subscribers. I'm like, what the fuck? Do you want to preach your philosophy? At least you are getting 10 people, 20 people. You won't get shit when you are speaking. At least I'm giving you 10 people to lend an ear to. So the thing is, she was like, have you taken any degree in philosophy? I was like, just a minute, Matthew, just a minute, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some guy from my university. So the thing is, she was like, have you taken any degree in philosophy? I was like, that depends. If you are asking that I'm shackled with philosophy, then no, I haven't taken. I'm just a free thinker. I think freely. And she was like, oh, I have done my bachelor's, and I'm going to do my master's. She's in Indian. I'm going to pursue my master's from Italy. And I was like, thank you, bye bye.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
It just sounds like a pompous prick.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Like, I was like, I'm not being arrogant or egoistic at all, but let's hope we meet 10 years down the line. Let's hope we meet.
I can definitely tell who would be the better philosopher anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Like 3 days. Yeah, for sure. Like, we are not shackled. That is what I believe in.
Yeah.
Like all these people that I told you that day, that existential philosophers are not considered to be philosophers because they are not analytical philosophers. They are not giving premises. The arguments are not having any inductive arguments or deductive arguments. That's logic. That's from logic. The subject of logic. So for a better background to all the people here, logic is like the weapon for philosophers to own their arguments, to polish their arguments, so that your arguments do not have any flaws or fallacies. So, like, all these analytical philosophers don't tend to consider people like us, you and me, as philosophers, because they think that we are not giving premise 1, premise 2, now amalgamating both premises, we get this argument. Okay, this is not a valid argument. Why? Because the premise 1 was not right, and the premise 2 was wrong, so he's not a fucking philosopher. So that's what it is. So that's what I hate about it. And I was like, tata, bye bye. Thank you, ma'am, for your time. All the best to your Italian journey.
I don't know why she would go to Italy, especially these days. They'll be really affected by COVID.
Yeah, for sure.
Lockdown
have taken it toll. Lockdown have taken its toll for sure. That's what I believe. And two people have joined in. Please, guys, you can ask your questions. No issues. The question can be the most basic question that you have ever come across. We have ever come across, but we'll answer it. We'll try to find the philosophy behind it. So don't feel shy. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel embarrassed. Embarrassed asking any question. Just go ahead. Throw yourselves out. Not out of the, but. The Dhanashri is asking. There is a subject in arts called logic and philosophy. Yeah, there's a subject. Logic and philosophy. Yeah, I don't know what. There might be aesthetics also. Aesthetics is also a part of arts. Arts is like humanities back here in India. So there is
kind of like the same here as well.
Yeah. Okay. So Indians and Australians have been following the same stuff. Sports.
Yeah.
Studies, like
especially in sports.
Sports. Australia won the T20 World Cup. Australia won the T20 Men's World Cup
Oh yeah.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah, or a hardy lot. One thing I found interesting, so a lot of Australians love archery.
Okay.
I found that out the other day. Like a lot of farms, they tend to have a bow and arrow with them. And most times do their like there's like an archery club in almost every town, city, pretty much. Wow, holy shit! Wow, okay. Like I knew archery was common, but I didn't know it'd be that common. Like,
wow. Yeah, for sure. Archery is something which is not very common back here in India. It's more common in the states of the eastern states, or more eastern states of India, more tribal states of India. So now bringing our discussion back to Greek philosophy, hitting back to philosophy there. So the thing is, what do you think, man, would be life before pre-Socrates? Because Socrates is considered to be like the milestone or the destination for starting for the initiation of philosophy in general. So what's your thought?
They were pretty much called the early Ionian thinkers.
Okay.
Or another common word for it is pre-Socratic thinkers.
Yeah.
These guys were all over Greece. They're just pondering. They look on the stars and say, what do they mean? What do they are? Or what is that? Or what is an animal? Have instincts. It was the thinking of basic stuff. It was all very basic, but then of course advanced over time to when Socrates was around. But it was like one way I could put it is like they're the cavemen of philosophy. They were the start. They were the foundation, the real foundation. They're all developing their stone tools, spears, and bows and arrows. Proverbially, of course, just questioning and thinking everything. Like, why does humanity exist? Why do we have these thoughts? It's the why. Why? That's how it all came to be.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So I was going through this Wikipedia page because I just opened it for reference, so that's why I framed the question, pre-Socratic philosophy. So there's a line here which is saying the pre-Socratics were primarily concerned with cosmology, ontology, and mathematics. They were distinguished from non-philosophers insofar as they rejected mythological explanations in favor of reasoned discourse. Okay, so that's rational thinking right there.
Yeah. Well, that's where I started, at least.
Yeah. That's what you were explaining to us. So it would be, it would be pretty. It could be like a dawn onto humanity, right? Either dawn, either a curse or a boon. Because at that now we know philosophy is a thing, and we study philosophy in universities. We know that philosophy is something which can come up with arguments and which can talk about shit which is either metaphysical or belongs to the realms of this world. So my thing is, if we put it this way, what would have been the reaction of people back then? There are cults of people who are coming up, popping up from here and there and disregarding mythology and disregarding the stuff which humans have been believing for like 7,000, 10,000 years or 20,000 years maybe, and then coming up with their own rational reasoning and stuff. How interesting would it have been?
Oh, that would be really interesting, especially if you had a talk with modern philosophers and then engaging into the early Ionian thinkers.
Yeah. A quick question to you. Question to you. If I tell you, if I just, let's take a hypothetical situation. We develop a time machine and I put you in that machine. You go back to the pre-Socratic era. And now you need to influence people by your words. Not influence like to be your followers or be your, but influence people as in to, understand the reality of this world or a universe in general. World, let's say the universe is a fucking spiritual thing. World, how would you go through it? How would you do it?
How would I go through it? Well, I could have a loincloth and preach around the streets like the early philosophers did. But no, that's not my style. I would make sure I would be a man of standing, like an advisor to a king or a general.
That's a good
That
thing.
sort of thing. A man of standing.
That's a
And
good
when
thing.
I would say in the streets, people would know that my word has merit. My word has weight. And when I tell them, they would generally believe me as if, like, I know what I'm on about. If I was saying it from the very streets themselves, I'd probably be laughed at. But if I was a king or a general or some sort of man of standing, it's just like, alrighty.
For
That's
sure.
how I would do it.
Yeah, for
How would you do it?
like people would be there, all equipped with bows and arrows trying to kill Matthew. So that's a good thing, seek some sort of validation so that people cannot attack you and still listen to you.
Yeah.
That's a good
So
thing.
how would you do it?
I'd take the other path, I believe. I'd go streets to street, talking to people, talking to the people who are like the heads of specific cults, reeling them in my favor slowly but steadily, not throwing hard facts, again using metaphors because hard facts do not work in real life. Reeling them slowly, just jerking their nut off by myself, and then if I have the head of a specific cult, be it a cult of 50 people, 50 odd or 100 odd people, then it's I can control the whole crowd because I'm controlling the head. And if one crowd is in your control, then it's like it's safer for you to
like a virus.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
Yeah, making people zombie. So Dhanashri is asking, she's saying something, then she's asking something. Plato once said, poetry is the imitation of imitation. He discouraged this. What do you say about that? @Matthew.
Plato disregarding poetry. Probably because he viewed poetry as a heavily emotional thing.
Yeah.
It's like, he's into the logic, he's into the philosophy. Philosophy was not really regarded as an art. It was just the cold truth. A lot of philosophers aim for truth. Or art they see as an illusion. It's false. It's not real. But truth is real.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's probably why Plato never really liked sort of poetry and all that.
He was very much against art. His concept of the tripartite soul. I mix it up with Aristotle the other day with Kyle and you. So it's Plato's concept. So that's what he's saying. He was against aesthetics in general, art and the movement of art, because he was scared of art. Because art is very powerful. It can switch off your rational thinking. So the tripartite soul is. I gave a lecture recently on the tripartite soul. So it's like you have three parts of your soul in general, or the whole human existence has three parts as an individual. So it's first is your mind, rational thinking. The second is your emotions, which is your heart, and the third is your appetite, is your desire for sex and food and all that, which is an animalistic instinct. So Plato believed that art in general, poetry, art, aesthetics, what it does is it awakens too much of your emotional reasoning and shuts down your rational reasoning. So it's quite dangerous. So Dhanashri is asking another question. She's adding up to the previous one. What's your take on Plato as an idealist? Does his utopian notion has some sense in today's world, as we will study Plato in political science? Okay.
Well, Plato made a very, very famous piece of work, and it's called The Republic.
Yep.
Where they're constantly on about utopia or the philosophy kings. He who is wisest must rule, not he who is strongest or smartest. Plato definitely loved his political ideologies. Definitely loved to dabble in that sort of thing. Politics interests him the most. That's why most of his stuff is political based. That's why a lot of students study Plato's philosophy, for his politics. But how would it stand in modern times? Because we're all heavily democratic. Anything that's not democratic, fuck off.
Yeah, for sure.
For now, at least. Because all things must come to an end.
Yeah.
We'll get a bit of a close up.
Yeah, I'm trying to show my pretty face. Yeah, so yeah, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
That's pretty much it. 'Cause, it wouldn't stand in these times.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're all quite democratic. God, there's the word. Had a bit of a brain fart. Yeah.
This utopian notion has some sense in this world, as is okay. Yeah. Who is an idealist in general? What's your take on an idealist?
Idealist is someone, I guess, who makes a very absurd notion, an absurd idea that's completely out of this world, and then want to make that into a reality, but having trouble doing it. I think that would be kind of an idealist. And a lot of the philosophers were. I mean, Plato always wanted to have a philosopher king sort of political system. Never really happened. Don't think ever will. Quite contradictory, actually. 'Cause, the wisdom can be changed all throughout the ages of its definition. So, I mean, like, I don't know, Plato. Bit of a dumbass move there, mate.
Yeah, for sure. I reckon my face is not so pretty at all. So I'm just trying to try some sort of permutation and combinations with my setup. Yeah, there you go. So she's asking another thing. No, Kuldeep is asking. So, Matthew, are you also writing? Are you also doing writing? I mean, your own things, jotting it down.
Oh yeah.
So basically, are you writing?
Yep. Oh yeah. Fact. Writing my own book right here. All my philosophical notes prepared.
That's for sure. That's your own stuff, or you are trying to come up with something?
That's my own book that I'm writing called the Philosophers Emporium.
Yeah.
All my philosophical thoughts into this one book. The reason why I say emporium because it's a multitude of things. I think politics, aesthetics, ethics, humanity, all that stuff. Because I don't isolate myself to one thing. I branch out.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Go ahead. I'm trying to work with myself. The problem is I've been too much on the computer nowadays, so the right eye tends to squint when I'm too much on technology. That's what the problem is. I'm having trouble. So because I've been uploading 3-4 videos on all of my channels. I'm running 3 channels for the time being. And writing my book.
That can be rather busy.
Yeah, writing my book. So that's pretty. It becomes rather hectic. Now it's fine. Now I believe it. So this eye tends to squint a bit when there's too much of strain on my eyes. So been thinking of getting LASIK surgery, LASIK surgery done.
Yeah.
Fixing my shit. I don't want to lose my eyesight, man.
Do you ever get writer's block when you're writing your book?
Sorry?
Writer's block, have a bit of a brain fart, can't write, like don't have any ideas to write.
Okay, writer's block. Yeah,
writer's block. Yeah, do you ever get that?
Yeah.
I've gotten that a few times.
Yeah, I get that.
I got this perfect idea in my head, and I'm like, shit, how do I write that down? Or I can just like forget and like.
Yeah, I have been facing it. Like I'm sitting there listening to what I do is to write. What I do is like I tend to listen to melancholy and all those sad instrumental piano shit because that is what sparks my emotion. Look at my father's pick a couple of times. That fucking just charges me up. Or watching a documentary of a great philosopher like Nietzsche or Heidegger or whatever. Heidegger is not someone who I admire, but he was a Nazi, but still. Watching couple of podcasts and getting my just accumulating all that, plucking all that stuff and then pouring everything down. So what I get thoughts which come in a jiffy like this, and I write it down in the shittiest English possible, because I know if I complicate it, I'm not gonna understand what I wrote and what's the meaning of that line. That this has been happening to my book. So I write it in the shittiest English. I mark it with a red marker on Microsoft Word, and then I try to improvise it. Improvise the philosophy, and then branch it all up, open it all up. So that's what I've been doing. I've been getting the writer's block. So how do you tackle that? What do you?
How do I tackle it? Shit, I meditate.
Okay.
That's how I generally do it. Or I listen to music, or like I try to piece, like I try to turn to a puzzle. Like, all right, my thought. I forgot about it. What was I thinking before? Any slight detail. Oh yeah, I was thinking about peanut butter, right? And then I could be thinking, okay, peanut butter. There has to be an emotional sensory. Oh, I'm working on emotional philosophy, and then boom, got it.
Yeah.
That's try to work it like a puzzle.
Yeah, that's linking.
A link with a link with a link.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. I call it branching rather. What was the root of my thought? It's known as first person thinking or first level thinking. I don't know what that shit is, but still, what's the root of this? Because when you are all messed up inside of your head, and you tend to churn out stuff. It's like you are talking about how do dogs walk to how do fucking fishes fly. That's how your mind is. It spreads wherever it can. So you have to compile that again and go backwards. That what was your first thought that you had? So and link everything. Reverse engineering is a better word, I reckon.
Yeah, that's pretty sure it's called reverse engineering.
Yeah, reverse engineering is a better term. So that's what the thing is. So people, you can ask more questions, anything you want to ask Matthew, or anything you want to get started in, be it philosophy, be it anything, you can ask your problems too. We both can answer that too. Lest we are fucked up in our lives, but still we can answer. For me, I'm fucked up. I don't know about Matthew. Matthew is enjoying his life. Yeah, for sure, he's enjoying life, so I can't
enjoying life.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. So I sit down, so my mind starts working when it's night, everyone is asleep. And
that's generally how I work too. Like I generally like to read and study at night. Even with my uni studies, I generally do it at night. Something about nighttime that just makes me focused.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
it's also because it's cooler. Because if it's stinking hot, I'm going to think I'm going to be motivated no matter how philosophical mastery I've attained. It's hot, I ain't thinking. But it's cooler, you got more focus.
It becomes rather
That should
different.
also be another tip of mine. Don't study while it's hot. Study while it's cold.
Yeah, you can't study when it's hot. Hot means the weather. Talking about the weather, yeah, I've observed that. I've seen my productivity go up when it's the winter season. I don't know why. Because it's still people tend to make themselves all cozy inside their blankets, and that's what people want. But I'm like the peak of my productivity when I'm into that zone. So have you gone through this Milesian school, PreSocratic Philosophy? Thales of Miletus, regarded by Aristotle as the first philosopher.
Thales of Miletus.
The first philosopher.
Got that somewhere. Hold up. Thales of Miletus. Heraclitus. I know I got it here. Xenophanes. Hold up.
He's being referred to as the first philosopher, held that all things arise from a single material substance, water. It is not because he gave a cosmogony that John Burnet calls him the first man of science, but he gave the naturalistic explanation of the cosmos and supported it with reasons. Oh, that's heavy. Okay,
cosmological.
Okay, according to tradition,
maybe
Thales,
I don't have it.
Yeah, you. I'm just adding up to the stuff. You can find it and then tell us. According to tradition, Thales was able to predict an eclipse and taught the Egyptians how to measure the height of the pyramids. Fuck, how did they build the pyramids?
That's right, Thales. Yeah, that was just in my book there, Thales.
Yeah.
He was one of the very first, like, advanced philosophers.
That's pretty
I would
interesting.
love to have been in Greece around about those times, or just anywhere, just like talking to the major philosophers, having a cool conversation. I'd definitely move there.
So, like, if we build a time machine, again a hypothetical situation, you'd like to go to ancient Greece, right?
Yeah, be great fun, I reckon.
Yeah, I would like to go to the 20th century or 19th century.
Okay.
Although the existential era. So that's pretty interesting, so that's the latest philosophy which we have, existential philosophy. It's been pretty interesting, because I don't know, people think that it's fancy to be to write about existential philosophy, but that's how I'm molded. Like you are towards stoicism, that's how you are molded. I'm towards existential philosophy. I didn't know about this shit like 6 months ago. I didn't know about some sort of philosophy exists by this name, but people told me to look into this because they thought me to be like all those philosophers. So that's a good thing. I'm not being forced into something. I am forcing that thing to be me. It's like that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting, pretty darn interesting. So people, okay, so Dhanashri has asked another question. So please guys, Dhanashri is always active. I want you guys, all the other, I know you are cheeky bastards, you like watching comedy, rom-com and all those kind of shit, but you should be this stuff can change your life, to be very honest. It can not, if not change, it can impact your life in some way, shape or form, but people do not tend to absorb it. So you should be absorbing it, people. I give you my word, it will help you a lot. So Dhanashri is asking, if any thought comes to my mind and if you want to proceed further with that thought, which is like some sort of deep thought, how to do that further to give argument to the thought to justify it?
Write it down first and then analyze it.
Okay.
That's how I do it.
Okay.
If I have a really deep thought, write it down, or if you don't have anything, just use a phone, audio record it. Just like getting it down, because once you get the deep thought, a few seconds later, boop, gone. So that's why you gotta write it down. Analyze this, like, all right, why did I have that thought? What was the reason? And then you determine the reasoning for it, and that can help you with your debate. It's like having the very reason for it, and then a conclusion about it. That sort of thing. Pretending it's like an essay sort of thing, an assignment. You could write an essay about it. So that can help like that. That's how I do it.
This part scared the shit out of me. I thought, where my beard gone? Because it's camouflaging. What I tend to do is I like you said, I in a matter of seconds I try to write it down as a thought comes into my mind, and then I try to create a hypothetical situation, an example, either from my life, or if I haven't experienced that specific thing or specific thought in general, because a thought is meant to reflect in your life. A thought is something that is you ought to experience, or you will experience in the near future, or you have experienced it. So that's why a thought churns, that's why a thought comes up. So I believe that making a situation that is more relatable, creating an example. Like yesterday, me and Kyle were having a conversation, and he was asking me the significance of a chair. What's the chair is about. So I was like, let's take a hypothetical situation. Like you go into a hall, there are 100 people sitting, and there's this one idiot standing on the chair. You'll not pay heed to the 100 people sitting, but that 101st man standing on the chair, and you'll not ask how the lives of all those people who are sitting on the chair is, but you'll ask the 101st person that why the fuck are you standing on the chair, and he's like, I just wanted to stand. I do not feel my ass getting comfortable while sitting on the chair, so I'm standing up. So you'll say, if you want to stand up, go there and stand. Do not stand on the chair. So you have given such an importance to a chair all of a sudden, which is rather inexistent in your life. So that's what we humans tend to do. Like, to satisfy ourselves, we can give life to any sort of unanimated thing.
There's a specific name for that, isn't there?
What's that?
For like giving life to unanimated objects.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's a
I'll figure it out.
It's a technical term, or it's like
a technical term.
Okay, I thought you were speaking to me.
Shit. What was it? I'll remember it.
Yeah, for sure. Ping me that.
Other time.
Okay, so there's a specific term to the same thing, giving life to an unanimated thing. Okay. Or is it Toy Story?
Of course.
So, again with my witty jokes. My witty jokes, people, fellas. Howdies. So people, please keep us engaged with your questions, right? We cannot just sit and talk. We can sit and talk endlessly, but the conversation will just be very deep for you guys, and we don't want that. So if you want, we can go further into how to think. We can have a series on how to think. How to think and how to articulate, because that's what people are interested in, articulate their thoughts.
I reckon also another cool thing to do would be how to debate, how to defend yourself.
Debate with other people or with yourself?
Yeah, well, both.
Okay.
I reckon, because debating is such a useful skill even in these modern times. That hasn't changed at all ever since ancient times to normal times, modern times. I mean, it's still there. The art of debate.
For sure.
How to debate, how to defend, how to attack. That sort of thing.
Have you gone through Christopher Hitchens? Have you gone through Christopher Hitchens? This is one guy, I don't know what his background is, but he's fucking good with debating all these religious people, and he's pretty good at it. There are a couple of videos online of him, and the thing is, having debate with yourself gives you prepares, like, I don't know if it eliminates the fear out of you. Like, whenever I used to go take time off to shit in my washroom, toilet, not washroom, toilet. So the thing is, I used to debate with myself. I used to take up any topic and talk to myself, and so much so that my mother called me mentally ill. Not mentally ill, trying to pull mental people down, but he's like, in India, back here in India, if you're talking to yourself, it's like some sort of ghost has taken your body. So that shit. So they were like, you have been possessed.
Call you insane.
Yeah, insanity would be a better word. So sorry, all the activists, I didn't mean to offend you, but so insanity is a better word. So she meant it in a sarcastic manner. She's not a very serious lady, so but still, so I used to talk to myself, while shitting, or while taking a bath, or while sitting in my balcony. So that's how you can improve your speaking skills. That's how I have improved my speaking skill. Talking. Are you not getting the sound in your?
Oh no, I just heard something outside. I just wondered what it was. Yeah, it's a train. Yeah.
Oh.
You just don't hear trains out here.
Train from where?
From that direction. Seems I can hear it.
Okay. I thought you were hearing something inside of your headphones. I was like, what the fuck? Where did the train come from?
Don't worry, my headset ain't haunted or nothing.
Yeah. So that's what you can do. You can have a debate with yourself. You can create an identity inside of you. You can give it a personality, and you can talk back and forth. You can have a beautiful transaction, So because a transaction is meant to be between two people or two entities, so you can have a transaction with it. And when you are ready, you can unleash your beast and walk on the streets. That's what Plato or Aristotle, I don't know who, or Socrates.
Yeah, that'd be Socrates.
Socrates, that's what he believed in. He believed that a true philosopher is the one who can walk on the streets and debate with any person he comes across. Like not going around and shitting onto people, but if someone comes to you, if someone is trying to ping the hornet's nest, then you'll have to face the consequences. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, no, I think that's how a philosopher should work.
Yeah, for sure.
His mind will constantly be in battle, with everyone else, particularly of their own kind. Fellow philosophers who have their own ideals and their own ethics. Want to fight, that sort of thing. It's always about fighting. Fighting is good. As I said before, it keeps you sharp, keeps you refined.
Yeah. So, like I've been getting this person, like I shared you the snapshots of me having a conversation in the comment section of my YouTube channel with that guy. Yeah, he was like fucking, and what I thought him to be a decent debater in the end, and he has been, just spamming me on my English channel, this channel and the other channel, all this. When a person is spamming you, be it on your text, be it through text or be it through comments on, if you are a social media, if you are a content creator, that you have pinched his nerve, and that to a bad nerve. He has he feels you. That's why he's paying so much of a heat to you, and he's giving fucking whole paragraphs of answer, and I'm not reading shit, man. I know you are a dimwit, and I don't. And he was like, he was asking me, he said me that you are just being influenced by your emotions of your father passing away. That's why you are cursing our religion. Those were his words. So that is what he was trying to portray. And I was like, okay, you want facts? And then he was writing that Islam is something which you should follow. It gives you morals, it gives you ethics, it gives you laws, and it gives you rules. And I was like, we have fucking constitution. We don't need. Constitution is more powerful, and Constitution is more, Constitution is a driving force of any country, be it a constitution, be it the laws. And he was like, Islam religion is like a law, our God is like the political head of the government. And I was like, what the fuck, man? It's like it's the same thing as you are drawing a parallel between something which is factual and something which is metaphysical, man. It's like drawing a parallel, and this is what my comment was, dude. It's like drawing a parallel between saying Tony Stark from Iron Man, died, knowing that he didn't die, or saying that Tony Stark in Iron Man is real, whilst you knowing that he's not real in real life. He's just a man. So, I mean, I was like, lol, man, LOL. I wrote to him, lol, LOL. I thought you to be a decent debater, but you are still a dimwit. So that's what it is. That's what my thoughts. Yeah, that's what my thoughts on them are. So people, any more questions you have for us guys? You can go ahead.
Speaking of debating, my inner circle of friends, we are fierce debaters. A lot of them have the same skill level as I do when it comes to debating. We could debate over the most silliest of shit. What's the best color for underwear? Or like, what teeth is more better? Or just like silly shit like that. But we get like academic and serious about it. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it's a craft that you need to, acquire, I believe. It's not that we are claiming ourselves to be philosophers, or we are forcefully driving ourselves into a mold of debating world, but it's like everyone should be. into debating. Everyone should know themselves. Debating tends to unleash many secrets of the world which we are living in. Many conclusions, and that's what I believe in. So, are you a natural debater, or, I mean,
now that I think about it, no. I think it was because of my friends and family that sort of made me to a very fierce debater, just constantly arguing with almost anything and everything, albeit serious or silly.
Yeah,
it's excellent activity.
Yeah, debating
anything
for sure, 100%, 100%. I've been a natural debater. I didn't know I had this thing inside of me, but I can fuck people up for real. Be it through text or be it through conversation. Conversation is what I prefer, because words, people can take out different meanings out of words and text.
It's also less effort than
texting. For sure. Texting is pathetic. It's pathetic. So Dhanashri is again asking. She's asking to you, Matthew. Can you tell more about Greek philosophy? @Matthew.
Well, Greeks thought about almost everything and anything. From animals to the stars to the planets to society to ethics. And through their fierce debates is what refined their philosophy to stuff that we can still use today. I mean, in almost all forms of philosophy. Just give me a sec.
Yeah, for sure.
What was going off? They talked about everything and anything. Nothing was too silly or too serious. They would talk about what we would perceive as the most silliest of stuff, like the philosophy of animal instinct. See, with the information we have now, we know that instinct is just part of an evolutionary trait. Well, they didn't have that sort of scientific equipment, or how would I say it? They wouldn't have enough science potential as we do. So they would think, okay, why does a deer graze for food? Why do animals have self-preservation? What causes that? What was the root of that? And they would have these fierce debates on all that, but they talked about everything and anything. And of course, once they do, they all section off into groups and then fight each other in the streets. And they would fight each other for real, like the sophists. A sophist is someone who exchanges wisdom for money, right? They could be fighting, and this sounds really weird, they could be fighting the Stoics. Like a bunch of Stoics would find a bunch of sophists and then go on, fuck off. They have like full-on gang wars. And they'd be fighting each other.
Yeah.
And philosophers used to fight each other on either end of the streets. They'd have to walk up on the little stalls and the crowds find it entertaining. It's entertaining, they're absorbing all of that, from either side. And it's almost like a game, like a sporting game. See who will back off, see who will win. Sometimes people lose their nerve and go, all right, mother, all right, fucker, come on. And they'd fight each other constantly. Always love that because, they're cults. Back to the cults thing. They operated almost like gangs, They had their preaching areas in Athens. And if sophists wandered into Stoic territory, they got to turn tail and run. Otherwise, they're going to have a whole heap of Stoics coming after them.
So Stoicism formed, the name Stoicism, the term Stoicism did form during the era of Marcus Aurelius or after him?
Oh, way before.
Way before.
Way before Marcus Aurelius. Where we had Epictetus, Seneca, but it was made by someone called Zeno the Wise. And of course, it was founded in a place in Greece called Stoa.
Okay.
So hence Stoicism. Just the art of not giving a shit.
And
it spread from there.
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius just, what did he do? What was Marcus Aurelius' role in spreading Stoicism in general?
Well, because the fact that, it was sort of like my tactic, being someone of social hierarchy and standing, you're able to spread ideas rapidly. When Marcus Aurelius took on Stoicism was up in the rise. Seeing how this man was withstanding the Germans, he was dealing with his bullshit son, he was dealing with his wife betraying him, he was dealing with Roman matters, and you're like, it's fine, it's alright. Yeah.
Is it because he was the emperor of that particular?
He was the emperor of Rome.
Yeah, that's why it took off, I believe.
Yeah, well, it's how it survived. Because it survived quite well in Greece. But then, of course, the Roman Empire went around, took over Greece quite easily, as I heard. And Stoicism traveled along with the merchants. It's spreading it all throughout the empire. And, of course, due to Marcus Aurelius, when he wrote that book of Meditations, it is now gone forth into the modern times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting how Stoicism has still not developed into a religion. What do you think? What do you think about that?
Maybe in the far future.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It definitely sounds like any philosophy or any school of thought could essentially be turned to religion, I guess. It's a bunch of ethics and doctrines which one follows.
Yeah, for sure.
So you never know. It could be a religion.
Yeah, yesterday, like we were having this conversation with Kyle. I was having, not we. What the fuck? I and Kyle were the ones. I was having a conversation with Kyle, and he was like, there are 12 million, 1.2 million or 1.2 million, I believe, Taoists in this world now, in China particularly. So the thing which I was pondering on that it was a philosophy which converted into a religion. So like there is no metric of how many Stoics are there in this world currently. Have you gone through any metric of that sort?
No, I never really looked it up, really.
So my new definition. Yeah, go ahead.
Stoicism just seems to come naturally to people who have had tragedy. Even if they've never really studied it or perfected it. They show a lot of Stoicism when they suffer the most. So I guess they wouldn't really count it as much as Taoism and all that. I reckon there'd be a lot of Stoics out there, or would be Stoics. It's a natural thing.
It's a new argument added to my arsenal, which is like the day you start counting the number of people following a particular philosophy, that day you should know your philosophy has turned into a religion, because now you have to count people, because you need to show how strong your religion is becoming, how strong your cult is becoming, and a cult into a religion. So like Stoicism and all these people, existentialism, atheism, as a matter of fact, absurdism, as a matter of fact, all these philosophies, like they're still in their budding stages. I believe they are like modern religions, right? They're like modern religions. They can convert into religion at any point of time. Like at a time, Buddhism, right? Buddhism, Islam, Taoism, were mere philosophies. People used to talk about them freely. It was not very, very, forcing. Like today, in today's era, like you have to be, if you are a Muslim, you have to do this shit, or you're fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So do we have time, Matthew, or shall we end this? Are you free to?
We got a little bit of time left. Yeah,
for sure. So because
I gotta wake up early in the morning tomorrow
for some expedition or some adventurous stuff.
I gotta drive a mate to a place called Rocky.
Okay.
He works over in the mines, so he's gonna drop off his car here, and then off we go on a little adventure.
Yeah, for sure.
Even
I want to see your video.
Friends.
I want to see a video you hunting some big ass deers down, or big ass stuff. Are there deers? Are there deers back there?
There are deers,
okay,
but not as common as kangaroos.
Yeah.
And kangaroos can be big fuckers, especially the bulls.
Yeah.
And once I was driving on a highway, I saw this fresh kangaroo corpse. It was a massive one, man. Fucking massive.
Yeah, it can punch through your windshield. No, your front.
Oh, it can rip your flesh out.
Yeah.
An aggressive kangaroo can rip you apart.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I was mortified, but also like hysterical. So when I saw this kangaroo corpse, I saw its dick flipping out. What a way to go! You're showing your dick out, man. Like, goddamn. He must have been having a root while he's finish having a root, and then off he go. Now, see, I remember the corpse. It was like spread out, so clearly saw the dick. I'm like,
so Kuldeep is asking.
Did not need to see that, and yet I saw it.
Fuck me.
Surprised didn't crash anyone.
That was fuck me. I would just my phone camera and started clicking, and posting on my Instagram story. New form of dick in the house.
Man, it was like sometimes you'll see like massive kangaroos, like almost as tall as even taller than humans, because they can reach massive sizes.
How fun it would be, like a 5-year, 4-year-old kid with his father back there in Australia, and they are like walking down the mountains or whatever it is, and into the kangaroo's habitat, and a big fucking bull kangaroo walks up and his thing all hanging, and the child asking, "Father, what's the third leg he's having? What's the third leg? I want to know about the third leg." So that would
to be that. I would hate to be the father. Oof.
Yeah.
I'll probably say just ask your mother. That's probably what I would say.
So Kuldeep is asking, philosophy, should one go straight to like metaphysics, whichever he may interested, or should he go all over philosophy? Would you like to answer that, Matthew?
If you're starting out, I probably wouldn't recommend metaphysics.
It's fucked up.
That shit's quite confusing, even for me. I reckon to start in philosophy, ethics. Easier stuff, ethics. You can read it, you can apply it, you can think about it. Once you master ethics, then you can move yourself up. And then you can delve into like metaphysics, because metaphysics is like logic and material universe sort of thing, like the ethics of that in a way. If I remember.
It's up beyond reality.
Yeah. A very abstract ideas as well. Because I mean, philosophy is a lot of abstract stuff.
Yeah, I've given a 25-minute lecture on ethics. Pure ethics. So not ethics, sorry, metaphysics, pure metaphysics.
Yeah.
So the other day I was trying to explain to you the difference between metaphysics and ontology. So it's pretty fucked up. Like, you tend to forget stuff. So what I'd recommend is going through the history of philosophy first, to know how this shit all came into being, because that's pretty interesting, because what people tend to do is dive in straight up into technical stuff, because it sounds pretty glamorous. Metaphysics, epistemology, ontology, these seem to be pretty glamorous, but it's boring as well.
It can be. Plus, you'll train yourself to study and read.
Yeah, for sure.
Before you move on to the philosophical stuff.
Yeah, I've gone through that, because I had to like watch a couple of lectures, 1 hour, 2 hour lectures, then go through research paper, and it was a task. It was a task
they
to
can be.
yeah. So because I cannot, because this is something which I'm portraying on social media, I'm giving out on social media, and you cannot be wrong. You can't put out wrong facts on wrong academic studies, wrong researches. People will catch you and people will rip you apart. So you have to be correct. You cannot move here or here and there. So it's a pretty daunting task. So I'll be giving a lecture, the final lecture on logic, and then the introduction to philosophy is over. So that's what that's what you can do. History of philosophy, you should go through history of philosophy to spark your interest in philosophy, because that's pretty interesting how these people came into being, how the budding philosophers came into being, what were their lives, how were they killed, executed, punished, or how did they influence other people, what were their stories, what were their legends, and then you can creep into whatever you like. So it's better to take up a certificate course, I believe, or a course online.
There
are many courses.
They just don't work.
Yeah, if people want to go into philosophy, like academic philosophy, and if you want to go into philosophy in general, you can just, it's a book, not a book, but a diary and a pen is more than enough for you to start. Right? Just jot down your thoughts. That's what it is. Everything is philosophy. Every other thing, you asking this question is philosophy in itself. Him posing this question, because you need to study philosophy. You need to study philosophy because you want to either achieve something in your life, or you are going through something in your life and you want to upgrade yourself. So your thought of yourself upgrading yourself, you upgrading yourself, is a philosophy in itself. So so everything is philosophy. So that's what it is. Don't go into deeper stuff, because that's what people tend to do. Going into deep stuff, thinking it to be interesting. What's your anything you want to add, man?
Yeah, you pretty much stole the words from my mouth. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
So everything is philosophy. So it's like, now we shall end the stream, not stretching it too much. So thank you guys, whoever asked their questions, and I wish you guys what we can call it as a good night, a good evening, from whichever part of the world you are watching, because of these people we sit here, man. That's what I believe in. Be it 5 people, 10 people, and I believe if we keep continuing our work, continue down the road, many people will, many more eyes would join us. So,
it's an eventual thing. As long as we keep at it, keep up a good fight.
For sure, it would be interesting. Yeah, for sure. Now we would come up with another topic for you guys in the near future. We are thinking of doing a trio podcast, me, Matthew, and Kyle. If we all 3 of us could find a slot, because all 3 of us are having fucked up times, because the zones are very, very different, drastic difference between times. So we'll try our best, and thank you, Dhanashri, Kuldeep, both of you, for giving in your questions. Thank you so much. So with this, we'll end. Meet you in the next video, and I'm gonna release the lecture series for my book, the updates on my book, so you guys stay tuned to it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you guys stay tuned to it, and hopefully meet you in the next podcast. So thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye. Okay, so I've ended the stream. It was
another good one.
it was pretty interesting.